This has never been a love story. For 19 years, it's been the greatest conflict in rugby league history. Now, reunification has reignited old rivalries. Only the toughest and the most talented deserve their place in the line, because there's nowhere to hide when worlds collide.
Champions in the game to players who can lift above the elite.
Oh yes, he's through! Can he make it? Can he make it? Yes, he can!
They're back. Back in maroon and blue. New South Wales versus Queensland. State of Origin, Game 1. Right here on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Hello and welcome to the Sydney Football Stadium for Game 1 in State of Origin 98. In this, the 19th year of Origin Rugby League, fans everywhere are both relieved and delighted that reunification has again made the best players available for selection. Joining me now, a man who's had his own part to play in the history of this series, Peter Sterling, and another Origin legend and former coach, Paul Borton. Paul, this is the first time in a couple of years you've been in the commentary box. You won't have any ulcers this time. You were the coach.
That's right, Peter.
Ken,
I'll venture to say it's less stressful up in the box. Good to be back in the box with you, Pete. Absolutely outstanding. The last 3 years I had coaching State of Origin, some highs and some lows, no doubt about it. But that's what the game is all about. State of Origin.
What were you saying here? Do you remember this moment?
I used to give out the jumpers individually to all of the players, and just a few words of wisdom to Gary Larson there. This is down in Melbourne, of course, in '95, and we won our series for the first time in a few years. These are the highs. And of course, as a coach on the sideline, for me, I was out there with the players, being every part of whatever they did, whether it was winning or losing. That's actually watching the last kick that could have won us the game, and of course, then walking off after we lost. But fantastic memories for me, Ken. But it's good to be back in the box, and Wayne Bennett can have all the stress tonight.
Well, I tell you what, he's avoided the media. It's easy to get an interview with Christopher Skase, I'll tell you, this week. Peter Sterling, the New South Wales side, just a couple of new faces, looks very, very solid.
Yeah, just the two men making their debut in McDougall and Rodney Howe. They'll fit into the side, no problems whatsoever. 146 Origin games from these 17 players out there tonight, so they're very experienced. Just the one withdrawal, that was Paul McGregor out with injury, but the team lines up very, very strongly. Brasher is the fullback. Wishart comes into the side for McGregor, McDougall on the other wing. Eddinghausen pushed into the centres with Terry Hill. Laurie Daly is the 5/8 and captain with Andrew Johns at halfback. Brad Fittler is at lock. Kosef and Pay in the second row. Very strong front row with Paul Harrigan, Rodney Howe and Jeff Tuvey. The interchange bench, Matthew Johns, David Barnhill, Ken McGuinness and Stephen Menzies, and of course coached by Tom Rodonicus.
Well, Sterlo, they've made the New South Wales team the favourites for this. They're a team with a lot of experience coming into this State of Origin.
Yeah, it's an even money bet, Ken. I don't think there's any favourites in State of Origin, although this team will come to the football stadium very confident. They're coming to play in front of their home fans. A very well-balanced side. A lot of natural first receivers, some good dummy half running from Jeff Tuvey again tonight. But really the men up front will pave the way. Steve Menzies gives some strike power off the bench, but I'm looking to Rodney Howe, Paul Harrigan, Dean Pay to take the ball forward, get the momentum going. That's how he's been in outstanding form for the Melbourne Storm this year. Nick Kosef, he's one of the natural first receivers. They'll be looking to get the ball in his hands. Paul Harrigan was actually under a bit of a fitness cloud during the week, dosed with the flu. And Adam McDougall, he's obviously very, very relaxed. His first state game, he comes off waving to the fans. He'll be looking to get very involved. Andrew Eddinghausen, he's played 25 State of Origin games. He's the oldest player on the field tonight. So really, it's a marvellous blend all across the park. If they can get that blend right, they're going to be very, very tough to contain.
Paul Borton, we're playing the Broncos almost. It's New South Wales against the Broncos, but they had a hiccup with Gordon Tallis. How much do you think that'll affect the side?
I don't think it would have worried the side at all, Ken. I spoke to Chris Close, their manager, just earlier today, and he said they are very, very focused. There's been no dramas at all during the build-up. Their side is a very, very strong one. the back line in particular, you know, 6 of the 7 players are Broncos, and it lines up this way. The fullback is Darren Lockyer. Matt Singh, the only non-Bronco there, he's from the Roosters. He's on one wing. Wendell Saylor on the other. Renoff and Smith, a good, strong combination in the centres. Kevy Wallace, 5'8". Alan Langer, halfback and captain. The lock forward is Peter Ryan. Jason Smith, Wayne Bartram moves from the bench into the second row. Gary Larson, the old warhorse, is there again with Shane Webke, a great inclusion for mine for the front row. Jason Hetherington is the hooker, and a very strong interchange. Benny Eichen, I think he'll play a very important part tonight, coached by Wayne Bennett.
Paul, the state of origin, particularly from Queensland's point of view, has always been about all these guys coming together, bonding, having a great time together. Virtually what you've got is club members this time. Do you see that altering the build-up to this State of Origin series?
Well, no doubt about it. There's a great combination there in this team. We'll see probably plenty of the planned moves the Broncos use. I mean, why would Wayne Bennett change winning ways for him? But it's a very, very strong side. And I said, I think Benny Eichen, you know, he will come on either in 5'8" or centre. He'll add some thrust when he gets there. This is Martin Lang, a great inclusion as well. He only runs one way, that's hard and straight. And Jason Hetherington there, I remember coaching Jason when I was coaching the Brisbane Capitals in 1992. He was a player of the future. He was a 5'8" then. Now he's a hooker. He'll have a blinder.
Okay, so you're going with the...
Got to go with the Maroons, no doubt about
You,
it.
Stella?
The Blues to win on the kicking game of Andrew Johns.
Okay, look forward to you going hammer and tongs in the commentary. And welcome back, Fanny.
Good to be back.
Coming up, the greatest Origin legend of them all, Wally Lewis, with his exclusive insight on tonight's clash between the Maroons and the Blues. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium, just 20 minutes or so away from kick-off to the Harvey Norman State of Origin Series Game 1. Now, one of the most calm players down there in the New South Wales dressing rooms would be Cronulla Sharks three-quarter Andrew Ettinghausen. With 25 Origin appearances, he is the most capped New South Wales player in the history of the series. Andrew Voss caught up with the man they call...
Description of Andrew Ettinghausen's speed may have been a touch over the top. However, it's a perfect example of how league commentators have struggled to find the right superlatives to capture ET at his best. Ettinghausen has been a headline attraction in the league world for the past 15 years, a decade of that time in State of Origin.
You're amongst the best players in the game, and I think when you're out there competing against the best, and they call it mate against mate, you've got a lot of players in the opposite side who are not only your mates, but they're probably the best players for Queensland. You know, it always makes for an intense battle, and the great thing about it is that the crowd and the atmosphere is just electric, and I think all those things just make it a special moment.
In 1983, Andrew broke into first grade at Cronulla, just 17, straight from the schoolyard of De La Salle. But Andrew rates the 3-0 series win in 1996 as his Origin highlight.
You know, we had a really memorable side. 17 players went through. We were undefeated in that series, and we had a really strong group of friends, and I think you know, that's carried through even till today. And looking on the side at the moment, we've got a number of those players in there. The sort of who was mentioned just the other day, the old firm's back. Well, it's great to be a part of and playing alongside guys who regard as good mates.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear the Queenslander chant again this year. What's the counter cry from New South Wales?
Well, old Tommy's got the old Redonga out there on the field, so I think when we get pretty tough, I don't know what it stands for, but I think it's put in that second effort. I think we'll be saying that at plenty of times through the match.
Andrew Ettinghausen could retire now and still hold the New South Wales record for Origin appearances in 3 years' time. Tonight it's the 26th occasion he'll don the blue jumper.
You know, my ambition is to just continue to play as good as I possibly can. If I'm needed to be called upon, I'll definitely get in there and give it my best. I think that's one of the great things, is to know that you can be called upon and you won't let anyone down.
So the longest serving and possibly the oldest representative for the Blues as well.
True. I'll keep on going as long as they need me.
Yes, he's a marvellous attribute to the game of rugby league there, ET, and he's playing a great game here tonight when he goes out there for his 26th appearance. Well, let's hope it's a great game for him. Now, a man who's been very much a part of Origin history. In fact, 8 man of the matches. He seemed to own the ground when he went out there. Wally Lewis, it's a marvellous feeling, and I'm looking at what's happening here tonight, and you look at what happened to E.T. over the years. I mean, he never got old.
No, he certainly hasn't, and I think the one real thing that a lot of the footballers hated about E.T. was he managed to stay a good-looking man right through that situation. A wonderful footballer and a lovely bloke off the football field. If anything, I think the way that he has gone ahead with his defence over the last couple of years has been his most shining armour. It's been terrific to see the way that he's gone on and got better with age.
Well, is the State of Origin more about passion than game plans? Is there a game plan in State of Origin?
Well, game plans do come into State of Origin football, there's no doubt about that. I'm sure that Tommy Rodonicus will have been talking a fair bit about passion in the New South Wales dressing room. He would have tried to structure a fair bit of his game plan, though, along the size of his forward pack. You have a look at the size that they've got in that front row in particular. There's where I think he's going to base most of that attacking plan, make big yardage up the middle of the ruck and try and give a fair bit of time and space to Andrew Johns to use his very skillful kicking game. I think their back row too is very useful to be able to make most use of the ball. We're seeing a situation at the moment where we don't think that we're going to see this too often in the game. New South Wales players laying flat on their back in a lazy move.
Okay, so you're obviously going for the Maroons, eh? You've got to go back home.
Never tipped against the Queenslanders and never will.
Good on you, Wally. He may be the smallest ace in Queensland hand, but he's one of the New South Wales fear the most. After the break, we meet the player most likely to give the home side a bad case of the blues. The most capped player in this current Queensland squad is their brilliant halfback and game breaker Alan Langer. Somebody who was there at the microphone when Alfie made his state debut is a character who's a bit of an Origin legend himself, Darryl Eastlake. Big D caught up with Alfie earlier this week.
Allen decides to take the tackle back to Langer. That'll be 4 points.
He has the step of a dancer, the toughness of a man twice his size. Leave a hole and Alfie Langer will hurt you. He's #1 on the Blues' most wanted list, and like all players, State of Origin means plenty to Alfie.
Every player wants to play in him, and just the build-up to him the previous week prior to the game is just unbelievable. And when the boys get in the camp, it's a lot different. There's a lot of good bonding sessions there together, having a great time.
These famed sessions, which always happen behind closed doors. I mean, you're not going to tell me what happens.
Well, you know, we just have a few quiet drinks and go to the movies and that, mate, and have a good time. But, you know, it's quietened down in the last few years, and especially from when I started in '87, it was a lot different.
How different? Why different?
Well, I think back in '87 and '88, I think, and then earlier years, I think you seen them bonding sessions seemed to last a lot longer, and you know, a lot more nights on the drink. But I think it's quietened down. It's more professional these days, and certainly players are really looking after their bodies a lot more.
The famous Queensland call, where did it start from? How does it work?
Well, it's just a call that, you know, from the early days, I think, when Beatson and Meninga, they all started in the Origin games, where when they sang out Queensland on the field, they just made them lift and for an extra 6 tackles or so. And when they call it on the field now, it's still the same, and all the players have just got to lift and put that little bit extra in, and hopefully make the way for a win in the game.
Queensland are coming back. Darren Smith for Langer. Langer gets it away. Here's the big fella. Gets the pass on. Coyne goes for the corner and gets the try.
How important is it to win the first one?
I think it's very important, and you just go into the second one a lot more comfortable, knowing that you only got to win one more to win the series, and if you lose the first one, you're behind the 8 ball from the start. So whoever goes away on Friday night winning the first game, you're going a long way to winning the series.
Langer's with the football. He's got it. I think he's got it. Langer has broken the deadlock.
There's been a lot of great games I've played in, and certainly in early on. And my best one was when I kicked a field goal to win the game. I don't kick too many field goals, but it was just a lucky attempt one night. winning is a lot different to losing, and I don't think anyone likes losing an Origin game. Winning is everything, and winning an Origin series, winning a game on the weekend, winning the grand final, they're all great, and it's something you look forward to and something you can celebrate.
So, series win this time round?
It'll be very nice, Daryl. I haven't won a series from 91, so a winning series would be a fabulous way to nearly end my career.
End your career? What are you saying to me?
Well, there's not too many State of Origin series left, is there, after this one?
So Alfie there signalling that this may be his last series. Okay, let's go down to the Queensland dressing room. And Wally, this is supposed to be very, very special. This is like a religious experience for you guys. That's what we've been told.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it's a sickening experience. You want to get out there in the football field, but you're not all that keen for it to actually get there on time. You want to get there out on the football field and take that first blow, but the nerves are playing havoc. A lot of the guys would be walking around thinking to themselves, particularly the newcomers in State of Origin football, well, this moment finally has arrived.
Wally, as a skipper, did you say much to your players?
Well, I think most of the guys knew exactly what it was all about in State of Origin football. They knew that they were out there to provide a job for each other, but that last comment about Alfie, his last series, it's difficult for me to imagine that he's going to walk away from the magnetism of this great contest.
Yeah, fantastic little competitor. Stay right where you are. We'll be back in a moment for the kick-off. The Harvey Norman State of Origin Series Game 1. Don't go away.
This program proudly brought to you by Carlton United Breweries and McCafferty's Express Coaches.
All very tense in the Queensland dressing room. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. Just minutes away from kick-off here at the Harvey Norman State of Origin Series Game 1. Now to bring you all the drama of this contest, the voice of rugby league, Ray Warren. Good evening.
3 former captains in the side. Tuvey, Fittler and Daly. Steve Roach is on the sideline. G'day, Steve.
Oh, how good is this, Ray? Listen to the noise here of the Blues, the sea of the Blues at the moment. This is what the game...
Who is mounting the dais now for her rendition of the Australian national anthem at the State of Origin.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the national anthem to be performed this evening by Miss Christine Arnoux.
A very vocal crowd. I've never heard a Sydney sports crowd singing like they did then.
How good was that? I agree, Ray. I've never heard that before. It'll get the players primed if they weren't all...
Tomorrow on Wide World of Sports, Might and Power takes another giant stride to greatness in the Wait for Age Doomben Cup in Brisbane. You'll see if the Melbourne Cup winner can pick up another first prize check and beat Better Loosen Up as the highest stakes winner in a single season. Later tomorrow afternoon on Sports Saturday, we meet Adam Mad Dog McDougall, hitting the books and the defensive line on his way to football fame and fortune. All that tomorrow on your Commonwealth Games Network, home of the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Across the state, around the world, wherever news is happening, the news leaders will be there. The team you can rely on to tell you exactly what's happening. Queensland's #1 news service, National 9 News.
You can get it jumping. You can get it pumping. You can get it pressing a suit. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic, a long cold Vic. You can get it lifted. You can get it shifted. You can get it any old now. Matter of fact, I got it now. Vic Bitter.
At McCafferty's, we'll get you there with an unbeatable fare. That's right, our standard fares won't be beaten. And they're unconditional, so for your unbeatable fare, call McCafferty's Express Coaches today.
We'll get you there. McCafferty's, we'll get you there. McCafferty's, we'll get you there. McCafferty's, we'll get you there.
Today, Info Talk looks at 7 things that make Land Rover Discovery different from any other four-wheel drive, like a powerful V8 engine or super economical turbo diesel, tiered seating for up to 7 people, command driving position for greater visibility, the highest towing capacity in its class, dual control air conditioning, Land Rover's unrivaled four-wheel drive heritage, and all this from just $128 a week. This has been Info Talk for Land Rover Discovery.
The murder is frightening.
I didn't do it. Why would I want to do it?
The suspects are lying.
Got an alibi. For when? For whenever he was killed.
And in the middle of it all, 2 rats are getting on remarkably well.
Flipping. No, I don't.
Water Rats, Tuesday, 8:30 on Win.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium at half-time in the Harvey Norman State of Origin Series. Game 1, New South Wales lead Queensland 13 points to 6. And with me is Wally Lewis. Does the statistic tell the tale of this game?
Well, pretty much so. Very early in the game, all the possession went Queensland's way, and they had the ball probably 2/3 of the match. Now the New South Wales are getting it, and they're managing to hold it for the majority of those 6 tackles. They're doing very well. Queensland disappointing. Only 8 times out of those 18 are they able to control it. Of course, the line breaks are the ones that come up with the 4-pointers. They're the ones that they're finding a little bit tough. Surprisingly, the tackles are fairly even, so that you've got to say that New South Wales probably are wasting a couple of opportunities in themselves. Queensland, though, have certainly got to pick up their tackles. If they're not looking after those on the edge of the ruck, they're going to be in trouble.
Wally, high quality, such high quality in the first 30 minutes. Very little drop ball, very, very quick. And, of course, we saw Langer, of course, weave his magic. He's the man to watch, and this is the result of this first try, of course.
Yeah, of course, with the defence so tough, right in the middle, him all the way through. A little bit of pressure on the video referee, but there's no doubt about that one.
Well, then the no try, you always got to have a bit of controversy in the State of Origin, but I think when you've got all the replays, you're left in no doubt that the right decision was made.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of disappointed Queensland fans there, but I don't think too many people could feel that they were robbed on this one. I think, if anything, as Paul Borton stood in the course, tried to back up on the outside, there was no one that was going to catch Renoff. He's one of the fastest players in the game. A wasted opportunity, a 12-point break. That would have been enormous to try and catch.
And when you look at the half-time, 13 to 6, I mean, it was a crucial part of the game. Now, of course, everyone said that we're going to take a look at Wendell Saylor. That's the New South Wales point of view. They're going to pepper him all night. Well, this resulted in New South Wales' first try. Just a little bit of mistake and then the roll-on.
Well, of course, we've seen around about 7 or 8 kicks.
Yeah, well, Laurie's had a hand in everything that's been good tonight, but then, of course, we haven't been, New South Wales haven't been kicking a lot of goals, but how good was what Andrew Johns did there just on full time? How crucial do you see that field goal?
Well, it was smart play. You could see that they were leading up to it, but again, it was bad communication from Queensland. Surely they knew, with about a minute to go to Hud's half-time, that on the fifth tackle, they were going to try and drop a one-pointer to stretch the gap, and that is a quality footballer, if for no other reason that he'd missed the previous 3 shots at conversion that he'd had. He's a guy that's going to be around for a long, long time in representative football, a real quality player.
Well, Sterlo said they need a forward in Queensland's pack to stand up and go out there and probably mix it a little and become, you know, a little bit dominant, probably a little quiet, the pack at this particular point in time.
Well, that's exactly right, but they've got to go up the middle of the ruck and try and play it as fast as they possibly can. Speed in playing the ball is where Queensland are falling down a little bit. I think that the player that they're really missing at the moment is Jason Hetherington on both attack and defence. He's not able to get those sharp darts up the middle of the ruck, and also he's not allowed to put as much pressure on the New South Wales kicking game while sitting on the bench.
OK, well, it's going to be a terrific second half because the first half has been an absolute beauty. And a reminder, you could be a rugby league winner in our Harvey Norman Masters of Origin competition. We're giving you the chance to win a $40,000 gift voucher from Harvey Norman. All you have to do is pick up our 26 Masters of Origin as voted by our footy experts and the senior football writers at the Daily Telegraph and Courier Mail. Each Monday and Friday during the series, the Daily Telegraph and Courier Mail will list a pool of 60 Origin greats from which to choose your 2 Masters of Origin teams. 13 players from each state in position. Fill in the coupon and you could win one of 2 $40,000 Harvey Norman gift vouchers. One winner from New South Wales and one from Queensland. Then on the night of State of Origin Game 3, we'll be announcing our winners, plus we'll be parading 26 Masters of Origin prior to the kickoff. Now, don't dare leave your seat. We'll be back in just a moment with the second half of the Harvey Norman State of Origin Series Game 1 here at the Sydney Football Stadium.
This program proudly brought to you by Carlton United Breweries and McCafferty's Express Coaches.
Yeah, just throw all those cliches in. It's not over till the last minute. Just an unbelievable effort from Queensland. Never lost faith in themselves. And you just look at the other end of the field. I've got no doubt whatsoever. If Andrew Johns could have got one into the in-goal area, and I'm not saying that taking away from Andrew Johns' game at all, but that's how close this was. Another set of 6 for the Blues at the other end. They win the game of footy. Queensland were good enough to go the length of the field in the 79th minute to score 6 points. And that is a championship quality.
Well, we're just waiting for Steve Roach and Wally Lewis to be able to attract a couple of players over. Steve Roach is in position now. Yes, Steve?
Yeah, I'm down the sideline with Adam McDougall. Adam, very disappointing. State of Origins go right down to the wire. What did you think? Yeah, just unfortunate. They did the unexpected, didn't they? They kicked on just coming out of their own end, only with a minute left on the clock. You wouldn't have expected that.
Probably should have shown more urgency, and they wanted it more probably at the end, and that's just the way it goes, I suppose.
And what were your thoughts when Steve Menzies went over with 4 minutes to go?
Well, we knew the game wasn't over, mate. They go right down the wire, as you said, and as you can see, they got us to 25 seconds to go, so that's Origin football, mate.
Yeah, they got the amazing capacity to come back. They would have been disappointed in the first half. They could have went to 12-0. You guys scored the try, but this Queensland side, they've done it forever. They just keep coming back.
You have to give them credit. They're a team of champions, and game 2 now is up there, so it's going to be a tough one for the boys.
Well, Adam, congratulations on your performance, mate. Bad luck.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Steve Roach there with Adam McDougall. Wally Lewis has got Darren Lockyer with him.
Well, Darren, that's what State of Origin football is all about, isn't it? 80 minutes of guts.
Yeah, mate. Close one in the end there, and the guys just kept hanging in there. 13-6 down at half time, and we come out like a house on fire. We let a try back in, but it's all about hanging in there, Origin football. And as we've shown in the last few minutes, we come away with a victory.
Having 100 metres to run, though, with a minute's play to go, it must have been a tough effort to ask the blokes to come up with.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it was a planned move or not, but great chase by Benny Eichen, and it's unbelievable, mate. That's what it's all about. A bit of effort, you get the rewards.
Yeah, mate, you must have been feeling sheer elation when you saw the try scored, but did that turn once you knew that you had to kick the goal to win the game for Queensland?
Yeah, mate, when I seen TC go over the line, I just go onto those posts, baby. But, you know, it was near enough. But, you know, you're kicking that close at training all the time, and that's all I try to make it work. You know, I've kicked this 1,000 times at training, just keep it the same.
Now, we were calling the game, Darren, in that second half, and we said that Martin Lang was the guy that really introduced himself to Origin football in the best possible way.
Yeah, mate, he shows what a good old-fashioned football is all about, just straight up and down, you know. That's all. You know, he gets a good go forward. He might get a few hammerings here and there, but geez, he gets some yards for us.
And we saw Wayne Bennett smile after the game. That's a new thing as well in Origin footy.
Well, let's hope we can get him smiling after the second one too.
Well, good luck, mate. Enjoy the drink.
Thanks, Wally.
Steve Roach has now got Ben Eichen with him. He'd be very, very happy.
Yeah, Benny, what do you think about that, mate?
Oh, mate, that was an unbelievable game to be a part of. It was play with Alfie and Kevy, mate. They were just both of them inspirations. They epitomise what Queensland means, and I'll never forget this game for the rest of my life.
Yeah, last minute on the clock, you got 100 metres to make. What was going through your mind when the kick went up?
I seen it bounce, and I thought, I hope that bloody ball bounces back to me. I hate they dropped the thing, but I was lucky it did come back to my chest, and I went down with it, and the boys did the rest.
Yeah, 24 points to 23, 9 tries in a state of origin. I never thought I'd see the day.
Mate, it's like the old times, isn't it? It was great footy, great defence, great attack. I think the crowd really got to see what they paid for, and I think they'll all be back up there at Suncorp Stadium, that's for sure.
In an uncustomary role for you, you played in a hooker for a lot of that game.
Yeah, mate. Benny said to me through the week, he really put his confidence in me. He said he thought I'd go right there, and he made me feel great about it. And the whole time I was there, mate, I never felt like I was playing out of position.
Go and enjoy the team, your teammates.
Thanks, Block.
Steve Roach down there with Ben Eichen. Well, we'll take a break and then we'll come back. We've got Ken and Peter and Paul with their views on one of the more incredible Origin games ever played. And Wally Lewis will be with our McDonald's Man of the Match. That's all happening from the Sydney Football Stadium on the other side of this break.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium, and what a magnificent sight from the Whitman's light airship, and what a game we have seen here tonight. An absolute thriller. Game 1 for 1998, State of Origin, New South Wales against Queensland. Only 1 point in it, 24-23. Yeah, you can see the try scorers for Queensland: Walters, Price, Langer and Carroll. For New South Wales, Wishart, Brasher, Daly, Fittler and Menzies. And the goals, Lockyer 4 from 4, and Johns 1 from 5. The field goal by Andrew Johns, but it wasn't enough. And we've had a great game here, and we've really enjoyed it. And that's the dressing room scene here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Queensland, very, very quiet at this particular point in time, but nevertheless, I would imagine a little later on, they will really get stuck into it. New South Wales, very sombre. I guess they would have thought they had the match, and with me is Peter Sterling and Paul Vorton. Your thoughts and what must be going through New South Wales' minds right now?
Well, I can't talk. I'm worn out. Shades of Magore in 87. Saw it in 94 with the Mark Coyne try. Darren Albert did it here in the grand final last year. It's just the perfect illustration that you've got to be in front after 80 minutes, not after 75, not after 79. And for Queensland to be able to manufacture and to raise the effort to do what they did in that last minute, it just shows enormous faith in their own ability and what they can come up with.
Paul, the thing that'll live with me is seeing that young Langer, Martin Lang, chasing down Rod Wishart. I mean, okay, they went on to score a try in New South Wales, but that was so special.
As I described it during the call, Ken, one of the most courageous pieces of rugby league I've ever seen from any player, but especially them being a Queenslander, would have been running through his veins here, through his brain. I've got to keep chasing, I've got to keep chasing. He did that, and in the end, Matty Singh saved the try, and New South Wales, look, they scored 5 tries to 4. They couldn't kick a goal, but and Queensland scored 3 tries from kicks, from Langer kicks. But in the end, it's an 80-minute game, and I feel that in the last 2 or 3 minutes, New South Wales slackened off mentally, and that's what cost them the game.
Well, if ever I've seen a game of football as well, Ken, where 17 players had to be used by the teams, that was it. Like, what is Ken McGuinness doing sitting on the bench for 80 minutes in a game like that? If he's in the 17-man New South Wales squad, he's good enough to be out on the field. Unforgivable. I cannot believe that Ken McGuinness did not play in that game of football with the attrition rate, the blokes getting injured and that, and they still couldn't find a place for him. ridiculous.
Yeah, they needed another reserve such as a Lazarus there, you know, who would have played a huge impact on the game instead of McGuinness. Very sad for Ken McGuinness, a la Aaron Raper last year, to sit on the sideline and not get a run. Quite embarrassing for him.
Still, that's the first time I heard you go off.
Well, I just, you know, like the bloke's good enough to be chosen in the first 17. I'm dumbfounded as to why we didn't see him in action tonight. I'm very, very keen to find out the reason why.
Well, maybe Tommy will talk to you a little later on.
Let's hope so.
Okay, down in the dressing room with the man of the match right now, here is Wally Lewis.
Well, we've got our McDonald's $1,000 man of the match. It goes to the Queensland skipper, Alan Langer. Alf, I don't suppose you're going to claim that was a planned move right to the end?
No, I don't think so, mate. But we were on top there in the second half for a long time, but New South Wales got back that try. But the blokes, they never give up, and that's what happens if you play for 80 minutes.
Well, do you think you've ever seen a State of Origin game dictated by kicking so much as this one?
No, well, that's right. A lot of tries off kicks. The ball was very slippery out there tonight, so it was on the go.
It really looked tough for Queensland, though. Just before half-time, the guys really looked like they were struggling.
Yeah, well, that's right. It was a pretty fast game, and the boys we had a few injuries in the camp. A few blokes had to carry injuries at the end, but just a tremendous effort.
There's a few blokes that really put up their hand to do some extra work too. Wendell on the wing come and did plenty of the forwards work, but Martin Lang, we can't stop giving him a rap, particularly the chase, that unfortunately it ended up, didn't get too many rewards for his tackle, but he really put his hand up, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that was just a fantastic, and that's just, you know, pulling on the Queensland jersey, you just never give in, and just a tremendous chase to catch the winger.
Well, Elf, usually the man of the match knows in his own heart that he probably has 2 or 3 players to thank himself. Who are the players that you believe that were mainly responsible for Queensland's success?
Well, I think they're all, mate. I can't single anyone out, and it's just a great team effort.
Well, congratulations, Elf. I suppose it's going to make Suncorp Stadium in a couple of weeks an entertaining match.
It's going to be very entertaining. If it's as good as the one tonight, it's just going to be fantastic for the game, and love to thank McDonald's.
All the best.
Well, Peter, how special is that fella?
Well, he intimated tonight that this might be his last State of Origin series. If he makes himself unavailable, they'll still pick him. They'll force it. They'll go and they'll tie him up and take him to the game and force him to play. And just a superb performance. As Ray pointed out, I did make the statement a few weeks back that I think that he is the true champion playing in the game today, and he proved it again tonight. He was still close to the best player if he'd have been on the losing side as well. You know, he's just that good.
Paul, you know, if you chance your hand, you show a bit of courage. Benny Icon got that kick through, you know, a minute to go, chanced his hand, came up with the ball, and of course everything rolled on from that. And a try, as you fellas pointed out, probably New South Wales went to sleep, but the fact is these guys made it happen.
That's right. Just before that, New South Wales probably had a chance. Well, they didn't put the ball in goal for a start. Maybe they should have thought about the field goal. If they get it, it's 24-18, they don't lose the match. But then Queensland, when the ball went wide, they saw that...
Didn't he handle it well? Not only by just kicking it, but we heard in the interview after it saying, look, I've done that 1,000 times at training. I just said to myself, go up and pretend that's where you are. And that's why, you know, he's a top-class player and will be playing rep football for a long, long time, because he has the ability to put that in his head and do exactly that.
You both said somebody had to stand up in the second half for Queensland and do something special, particularly in the forwards. Who did that, Paul?
I feel that Martin Lang was the man that did that, the replacement forward. I thought he was terrific. He got them some big, strong, hard running. That we know he can do that, but particularly tonight, he got the rest of them going and the others followed suit. What about New South Wales, Pete? Who do you think played well for them? I thought Rodney Howe was terrific.
Well, there are a heap of players. Tim Brasher returned to rep football. He was outstanding. Daly in the first half was superb. They didn't have any bad players, and that's a good thing. I think I'm right in this statistic. David Middleton, our stat man, sent it across. I think that's the biggest score in a State of Origin game by a losing team. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it had it all. We had it all.
You can't complain about that one. It was really, really good, and we look forward to the second one. After the break, Wally Lewis with his views and where the game was won and lost tonight at the Sydney Football Stadium. Back in a moment. Well, back here at the Sydney Football Stadium, we have seen a wonderful football match, and you've been involved in so many, Wally, over the years, but they don't get much better than that when there's only a point in it.
No, that's what State of Origin football really is all about, isn't it? Going right down to the wire, quality football teams going right through to the 80th minute, and to have the crowd right on the edge of the seat at that 80th minute is something that will really draw the crowds back to rugby league.
Now, we talk about this thing that Queenslanders have, and I mean, you went down there and you had to talk to these guys, and they probably say to him, well, Wally's seen, he's done it all, we better listen to him. What did you say to them?
Well, after the match, when I got the opportunity to speak to them, I just said that is one of the gutsiest performances they will ever see. Queensland teams have won it close to the bell before, but to go 100 metres and score a try inside the last 60 seconds is different. I sent them a telegram before the game, and I went into the sheds after and read out the last couple of lines of the telegram, and it was exactly what it was all about.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at that, you pick out a good player, do you see 13, 16, 17 players, or do you see one individual who made the big difference?
Well, it's impossible to come up with one, isn't it? I mean, Alan Langer did remarkably well, but it was all the guys that gave him so much support. Shane Webke, I thought he'd had it at about the 60th minute mark, but he just kept coming back, charging up the middle. Martin Lang, that was magnificent for a first-timer. I went down and congratulated him, and I can tell you, he's got goosebumps about 3 centimetres tall on each arm at the moment. He really does know what State of Origin football is.
And Benny Eichen has made a rod for his back. He could be a hooker for the rest of his life.
I think he'll be very quick to remind Wayne Bennett he doesn't want to play there, though.
Okay, any other things that you step out and you see things like this? What does this mean for Suncorp Stadium in a couple of weeks' time? I mean, will Queensland go on with it? Can New South Wales regroup?
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. I don't think anyone can assume now that Queensland are absolute certainties to wrap up the series. We know that New South Wales will come back. A wounded tiger is always the most dangerous one. There's no doubt about that. When they come back up there, they are going to know. And I'm sure Tommy will have them fairly revved up by the time that they take to the football field. But I think that what we have seen now is the best advertisement that Rugby League could have possibly hoped for. Magnificent. The game will go up there. It'll be a packed stadium, and I'm sure it'll be Channel 9 will have viewers all over the country watching to see it.
Well, when you see a game that's so fast like that, you see a lot of wounded players out there, you really have got to use all the players that are available to you. Now, Peter Sterling's been very, very strong. His condemnation and the fact that Ken McGuinness didn't get a run.
Well, I thought it was a little bit unusual. Perhaps Tom knew a little bit more than we all did sitting in the box. But I thought it was a little bit strange, particularly not using a guy at around about the 74, 75 minute mark, where you've got guys that are absolutely physically exhausted out in the football field. You bring a guy on that's fresh, he's still got all of his physical fitness about him, and he's got his skill level to 100%. He is going to be the most dangerous player in the field, and I thought that was a little bit confusing, but we've got to leave that decision with Tom. He made it for a particular reason.
Did you enjoy it?
I certainly did. Right at the end. I wasn't enjoying it for 79 minutes.
You blokes would be impossible now. Okay, Rugby League fans are in for some wonderful treats in the coming week here on the 9 Network. Like early tomorrow morning, schoolboy football returns with the Aussie Home Loans Cup. Our first match featuring a couple of sides from the Newcastle Knights backyard, Cardiff High versus St Francis Xavier High, Hamilton. Now check your local guides for viewing times. On Sunday afternoon, our cameras will be at Bear Park for the important clash between North Sydney and the Sydney City Roosters. Then on Friday, June 5, it's the Harvey Norman State of Origin Series Game 2 from Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, and after tonight you've got to be there. And a reminder, you could be a Rugby League winner in our Harvey Norman Masters of Origin competition. We're giving you the chance to win a $40,000 gift voucher from Harvey Norman. All you have to do is pick up 26 Masters of Origin as voted by our footy experts and the senior football writers of the Daily Telegraph and Courier Mail. Each Monday and Friday during the series, the Daily Telegraph and Courier Mail will list a pool of 60 Origin greats from which to choose your 2 Masters of Origin teams. 13 players from each state in position. Fill in the coupon and you could win one of 2 $40,000 Harvey Norman gift vouchers, one winner from New South Wales and one from Queensland. Then, on the night of State of Origin Game 3, we'll be announcing our winners, plus we'll be parading the 26 Masters of Origin prior to kick-off. So we've got some great football ahead, particularly in the State of Origin series. And Wally, I would imagine you'll probably get a Guernsey in that, in the teams.
I'm hoping to, but if it's alongside any of the players that took the field tonight, I'll be pretty happy.
Thanks for your company.
My pleasure.
I look forward to the second one. And we hope you've enjoyed this first instalment here from the Sydney Football Stadium. On behalf of myself, Ray Warren, Peter Sterling, Paul Vorton, Wally Lewis, and the entire 9 Network Rugby League team, until next time, bye for now.
Away for Jones, back for Fittler. Fittler away for Eddinghausen. Fittler's gone to Menzies. Menzies, he's in to score. Menzies has scored. And probably wrapping up Origin 1. Was it? The kick and the race is on. It's picked up.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports, your Commonwealth Games network.